Okay, you built the power source. Now you're going to build yourself a foam cutting arm. Well, I'll be totally blunt here. I'm not going to build the second one with you because, well, I built mine. I'm going to give you some overall ideas because realistically, this is about the simplest thing you can possibly construct. You need a flat bit with a hole in it. Then through the hole is going to go your wire. This is your nichrome resistance wire. 30 gauge, in case you've forgotten by now. And this is the wire that's going to heat up during the course of the foam cutting. So this is your heating wire right here. This is the same heating wire which on this other unit is the wire right here. Alright, so these two wires, one and the same type of material. You've got electric, which is going to form a loop. This is just another piece of cable, much the same type as we did before, that connects the AC to our power box, which is what we already built. You got your two prongs in your power box. To each prong would go one of these connectors. One of these connectors is attached to the top of the wire. The other connector goes down through the bottom. So this forms a loop. Hoping nothing falls, hoping nothing falls, hoping nothing falls. Okay. So this forms a loop of electricity going into one. This is forming a loop going through your power source. Alright, I am going to show you the inside of this thing as well. So, the way I made mine, this is a wooden arm up around the top. This gets me maybe about a foot of clearance. As you can see, there is a spring here. This acts as a heat sink. Any heat from this wire is absorbed and dissipated in the spring so it doesn't start heating up my hook and burning up my wood. At the top here, there is just a hook that holds the spring and that keeps some tension on the wire. There is a wire, this is one of the wires that takes the current, that takes the wire and it's just wrapped around the hook. The hook's metal, spring's metal, wire's metal, metal's a conductor, so electricity is going through this. On the bottom is the exact same setup as the top. I have a hook, I have a spring, and it just keeps the wire under tension. And to it goes the other side of this. I'm going to break off the camera, go a little bit of freehand on the underside so you can see the internal workings of this beast. Alright, here we are. I apologize if this is at all wobbly, but I am just trying to get this as much visible as possible since I'm not actually building it with you. So here's the arm. You can see the wire goes along and wraps around the hook, and there is the spring. That wire comes back, goes down, and is one of the two of the clips. So that's one of them. Goes to the top wire. We're going to go into the bottom now. And down here you can see the small hole where the other clipped wire goes into. Here is where I bolted the arm to the frame. The wire goes through. Here's a central support beam to which is hooked the other hook, the other spring, and where the wire goes up. So that's what you're looking for the bottom section. The spring is only there to keep it from heating up the hook. You could attach that wire directly to it, but if the hook heats up and starts to burn into your wood, you run the risk of that hook pulling out. So the spring dissipates the heat. Hopefully that's enough of an idea of the gizmo for you. Those edges there are 2 feet per side, so that's a 2 foot by 2 foot square. The overall height of the box is approximately 4 or 5 inches. I would guess 4 immediately offhand. This is maybe a 1.5 bit of square scrap wood. I just secured it with some bolting to make sure we're in good shape. Alright, you ready to test the power source? The next segment of this video is either going to be really cool or, you know, hilariously tragic. Well, damn it, I'm just going to do it. Alright, I hope you're ready for fun. The smoke detector's on, the fire extinguisher's over there, somewhere. And we're going to go ahead and fire this thing up. Here's hoping. So, to start off with your power box. Number one, make sure your safety switch is set to off. I have actually painted the on section with a little bit of red, so I know at first glance if this thing's on or off. Right now, we're safe. It's off. Before I even turn it on, though, I have my connectors for either end of my resistance wire. They're on two chompy alligator clips. I'm going to clip one to each of the two extensions from the power box. Hopefully that is highly visible. If not, I'll have to look again. I would never do this with the power box up on the same surface, but I want you to see how it all blends together. My power box will be down and off to the side, somewhere where it's not going to slide around so much. But for demonstration purposes, here we go. These two alligator clips must not touch. So that's why it's handy that we put these things so far apart. If you need to, you could probably even get this back and around so these things really just can't possibly touch. They're being pulled in opposite directions. These two clips, you could touch one, but don't touch both, or that electricity is going to want to travel. It should want to travel through the wire. The wire's easier for the electricity to go through than it is to go through you. But don't be stupid, don't take chances. Remember, it's like a loaded gun. You don't want to be the one to go, how big can the holes like making my wall be? It's not a toy. It's a tool. It's a toy. It's a toy if you know what the hell you're doing and you're careful. It should be a tool to anyone else. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. It's plugged to the two clips, so it's got power through the loop. Now I'm going to plug it into the AC on the wall. Now, I'm going to turn on the switch. Alright, at this point, maybe it's on. Maybe it's not. You have no way of knowing. Yes, you do. Right now, I know it's not on. And if yours isn't on either, you'll know because you'll hear a deadly electric hum if it is. Chances are if it's not right now and you've turned on your switch, it's because the push button switch on your dimmer is also off. So hit the push button switch to see if it's off or on. If you still don't hear a deadly hum, maybe your push button switch is a little bit low. Start turning it up. You might feel vibrations. You might not. If it's not, then your push button switch is off. I was just demonstrating. Okay. You're going to hear a hum. There's going to be some vibration. That's the electric current passing through the wire. If it's passing through, the wire is heating up. And you can begin your true test. Working. If it's cutting too slow and you don't like that, turn it up. This thing can go to red hot. These fumes are not anything you want to be breathing in for prolonged periods of time. I don't recommend you keep the wire red hot because eventually this wire is going to oxidize and burn out. You should not see cherry red on there. It should just be a normal wire color that's perfectly hot enough to get it through the foam. Let's do that with a larger chunk. I don't want to get my hands that close. So there's your hot wire foam cutter. It's good, it's ready, it's done. I wish you many happy returns in your use of it. Obviously, when you're cutting tombstones, you're going to lay your project flat. That'll afford you the best control. Boom. No problem at all. You can use your push button and your side safety switch for dual safety switches, or you can just have the whole thing off and on with the single switch. The other thing you're going to want to do at this point is, since you've just discovered how your power box works, you're going to label your dimmer switch. Which way is full, which way is low. So for mine, that's hot, and I'll show you that briefly. That's a red hot wire. So I'm going to label my dimmer, which way is towards full power, which way is towards low power. 0, 100, which way I got to turn it to go which way. Cool. That's a hot wire foam cutter. About 30 bucks for the power supply. A couple bucks for the resistance wire. You can build the rest of this out of scrap wood and some screws. When you're done with it, make sure all power is off. Make sure your safety switch is hit. Unplug it. Now you can disconnect your clips. Power supply, cutter armature. Now this is just the beginning of the fun you can also have with this thing. Let's say for some reason you wanted some more fine work. Well, make your own tool. So long as you have power running in a loop through a tool and resistance wire somewhere on that circuit, it's going to heat up. Here's another one I made in about 2 minutes. These are 2 metal arms with a section of resistance wire. They are insulated from each other. These metal rods here are not touching on the inside. Each one is connected to 2 pieces of wire, just like this one. 2 clips. Gonna hook it up. Gonna double check my switch. Off. Gonna grab my new cutting tool. On. Turn it up. And now I've got a more free-form foam cutting tool, which I just overloaded and the wire broke. So don't be stupid. This is now incredibly dangerous. Switch off. But you can make your own tools with this to cut as well, as long as you're not an idiot. Alright, and as again, switches off, unplug, never touch any exposed wire on this, as long as this thing is plugged in. Keep it safe. Alright, let's go back to some tombstones.